afaqs CMO Dialogues. Today we have with us Mr. Sameer Saxena, Director Marketing at Legrand India. In a career spanning over 3 decades, Saxena has worked with General Motors, Schneider Electric, and Indo-Asia. Welcome to our CMO Dialogues. We really look forward to having an interesting conversation with you.
Thank you. Much appreciate having me over for this interview. Thank you so much.
You've been in the industry for almost 3 decades. What are some of the unique changes that you've seen in these 3 decades that has completely changed marketing?
So one clearly, as the markets have matured, the standards of safety have started increasing. Electrical is clearly related to the safety of the building, safety of the infrastructure, and even safety of the human lives. Clearly, the standards and the awareness about the safety for the last 20 years have increased quite a lot. This has forced industry first to bring in products which are safe, easy to install for our installers, be it contractor, panel builders, and bring us a certain robustness on the safety. So that's one part which the manufacturers have done. The second part the industry has done is also trained the stakeholders on how to use and how these products operate in an environment, be it an industrial environment, be it an infrastructure environment. So I think the safety standards have increased, the governance have increased on these standards. So that's point number one from the customer point of view. Second point from the customer point of view is clearly the technology has changed for everything. It's not only for electricals. Look at cars, look at scooters, look at our refrigerators in the house. So the technology has been changed, and this industry is not in isolation. So a lot of things have started. It was, if I recall back in 20 years, it was basically an electrical company, but now the IoTs have come in, the connected products have started coming in. So clearly the technology has from a category perspective. One part of electrical, if I look at, which is more end consumer, is switches. So you have switches in your house, you have switches everywhere. This domain was still seen as electrical, where the end user was not involved much. You leave it to an electrician, you leave it to a contractor. It should be safe, it should be installed well, and you never used to get into it. But now this category not only is, I would say, to use a clash, dominated industry, but now the kids, the wives, they have started getting into this category as an involvement, especially on the switches side and the home automation sides. So not on the big electrical products, but that transformation has changed, that this category now sees the end user as a family taking decision of buying in a switch.
But how has the consumer's needs evolved? So, for example, the earlier switches that we had maybe 30 years back was just about switching it on and switching it off. That's it. And now you talk about IoT coming in, about smart switches, and so much more innovation coming into this category. Has the consumer's needs evolved that you had to come up with these innovations?
On the both sides, one, to be proactive, especially on the B2B space, we lead the change. So somewhere, say the AI or the connected product or energy efficiency or the safety standards. So we need to sensitize the market, and that's as a leader or as a partner of the industry, it's our duty to see that the standards of the industry grow. But this is not done in isolation. We clearly take the stakeholders into need. I'm talking about B2B, where we really partner with, because they know their business well, they are using our products day in, day out. So it becomes a collaborative approach with our customers, something we bring earlier to the market than the need be. Check it, see it, whether it's relevant or not. Some things might be ahead of its time, something might not be relevant. Sometimes we are behind the curve also. It's not only that we are always ahead of the curve when the customer push it. I see it's a two-way street, lot of collaboration with the customers, by which we keep on changing the standards, bring in innovations. More than innovation, I will see, we call it disruptions now. So the
Hmm.
things get disrupted so fast. Innovation used to be a bit it used to be a trend, 10 year cycle, product life cycle. But now, because of the technology, things are getting disrupted. You use Earlier, IoT was still a touch, but now you use phones, you use Alexa to control things. So things change. So we need to start handling the disruptions, and the disruptions are coming in two ways. One is the technology, and one we how we do the business. In both the ways, the disruptions come. So I think the customers feel this disruption, and they need somebody to hold hands on to collaborate. We see these disruptions and we take the help of our customers or collaborate. So it becomes a very two-way street.
In 3 decades, I'm sure you worked on a zillion campaigns and must be difficult for you to pick one. But if you had to, what is the most memorable campaign you have worked on?
So 30 years always gives away my age, that I'm not a young person anymore. But nevertheless, I would talk about a campaign which is recent, and again, end user campaign. Usually, Legrand is a B2B company, so we don't do end user campaign. So I'll talk something more contemporary. For door phones, we did a campaign on Instagram, which was quite unique to do a campaign on Insta for a electrical so-called company, which was never there 10, 15 years back. And to do a campaign which was the film was not more than, I would say, 30 seconds or less than 1 minute for sure. So to do a campaign in a contemporary way on a door phone, which is a connected switch, clearly your target audience also changes. When you do a connected phone, target audience are not 50 years, target audience are young people who use this, the architects come into play. So from that perspective, mapping the target audience was good, and there was a certain element of humor in the campaign. So I would rate the Instagram campaign of our door phone category as one of the interesting campaigns which we launched from our electrical industry, which was not the norm quite some years before.
And there must have been some campaigns that did not give you the result that you thought it would. Some failures that taught you great lessons. Can you recall any campaign like that?
More than the campaign, I would say a type of strategy, as well as how did we take that product. Again, I will talk about a product which is more consumer oriented switch. So Legrand was always considered a premium brand. So we had switches right from the luxury side, premium segment. Around 5 6 years back, we launched a product in a mid-mark segment called Bitsy. So clearly the product was good. It's just that we couldn't position is correctly. Maybe there was a pressure of cannibalization that at that price point, the product might eat into our premium category. I think that's one area where we improved. Post that, we had launched a new product called Allsy in the same category, replacing it by Britzy, and it's a phenomenal success. We are running out of our capacity, and the demand is so high. But clearly, I think the success of Allsy clearly has some, I would say, contribution of our learnings from the Britzy. How did we position Britzy? How did we take it to the market, and did a few campaigns, which was not very successful, a bit of a failure, we can say it. But I think all the learnings of Britzy translated into a huge success of the product which came after 5 years, which is Allsy, just launched a year back and is doing very well.
Most of your working career, you have been working in the electrical industry, right? What are some of the unique challenges this category faces in terms of marketing?
Uh, One is the complexity of the customers. Just to give you an example, we work in a segment of data center, which is highly technical. On the other side, our customers are highly educated. They understand the product well. They understand the areas they are operating, and it becomes a very B2B, very technical discussions. On the one side, we also have electricians. So you see a wide variety of a customer. From an electrician, you connect with the electrician in different languages, in local languages. You need to talk about safety to them. You need to talk about how easy it is to install. You have to explain to them the standards, the safety, etc., etc. So one side is the electrician. The other side are big contractors like L&T, ECC, etc., which are quite big contractors. And then we have, say, a data center or a hotel, a Taj hotel, or a hospital like AIMS or IIT and IM. So we are there in very varied verticals where the customers make a difference, which is interesting. I would not say it's challenging, but it's clearly very interesting that we need to talk the language of a particular vertical. The other is the type of products we have. We have more than 10,000 catalogs of products, and each products go into different applications. So that brings in a certain level of changes, and a bit of complexity to our role. So I would say that it gives us an opportunity also, but I think the challenges of this industry is different products, different types of application, and a wide spectrum of the customers.
At
Correct.
a time when performance marketing is the overpowering buzzword, what is your main marketing philosophy?
We did start our digital journey 3 4 years back, and proud to say that we have a year back launched our own e-shop. So Legrand has its own e-shop. It's a pilot, of course, because a B2B company to have a e-shop is a bit of so it took us time to understand. But as the business and as the customer journey is started, clearly performance marketing on the e-shop becomes very important. So we have the matrices ready, we have the KPIs done, and we do our, say, learning in the process to see that our cost of acquisition, how the leads transfer, how the funnel happens, how the customer places an order to us on our e-cart and finally takes a delivery. I think this whole customer journey, performance marketing is one part where we are clearly focusing. The second part is CX, all the touch points on a customer engagement. How do we fulfill their order on the customer experience side? That's one area. So I think two areas on the digital with an experiment and initiative of eShop. We clearly
Mhm.
see that CX journey of the customers, we are really into it, and the performance marketing part of it.
Right. Like you said, you started your digital journey only 4 5 years back. It's around the same time that digital witnessed a massive growth, right? Post pandemic. How has your approach to marketing shifted over the last 4 years? And for your category, how do you divide your media budget?
So two things. You are clear post the pandemic. Clearly, when the work from home came and the traveling was there, especially challenging for us. We were a B2B company where you sit in front of a customer and discuss. I think the first step was to build the assets.
Mm.
We had a website which was just one digital asset, but to have technical catalogs on a digital platform, to have the images of the products digitally. Earlier, we could take the products, there were samples, and people could visit our offices and see the samples, etc. But that was not possible. I think the first few years clearly went into the creation of on the assets to make our websites much more interacting, to see that our websites are compatible on phone, to see that the technical catalogs can be downloaded fast, can be searched fast. Specifically, if somebody wants a very specific information, he doesn't have to go all across the catalog. Can he zoom down to a particular information he wants? The images, especially for the wiring devices, we have certain range. Can he rotate a product 360-degree, which was not the norm 10 years back? You just had an image of a product, but now you have to have images which are interactive, which are line. So I think the first step was clearly to build quality assets. The second step was to see that the traffic comes and we are able to do engagement with the customer online. I think that was the second initiative and challenge, to be able to interact in a business which is B2B, to engage customers on this digital journey. Clearly the communication also started happening digital, starting from very basic thing on WhatsApp, lot of TikToks, lot of short films, lot of educational films. The training started happening digitally, which was one of the big part. So I think 10 years back, if we were spending 5 to 6% of our budget on digital, now it's more than 50%.
So when you say more than 50% is digital, what is the remaining spend on?
See, one is clearly we have a good amount of business with retailers. We have more than around 20,000 retailers. So some offline activity happens at the retailer counter. So to start with, one, if I look at our physical assets, The first physical asset, we have our own Innovals. Innoval is our own showrooms. So this showroom we have built in our own offices. So we have regional and branch offices all across India. So proud to say that we have 25 Innovals where we showcase our entire product range. So it becomes good for an end customer, architect, consultant to visit our Innovals and see the products hand on. The end customer can come, and that's really translating very well into it. One very important trend we saw with in Bombay, Bangalore, we thought this is where Innovals would come, but because of the traffic and the distances, yes, we do a lot of see customers. But in small places like Vizag, Dehradun, Lucknow, there our equity of Innoval is quite high because the distances are less, traffics are less, and the customers are willing to come to our Innoval. So we were thinking Innoval would be a good asset in B in A-class metro towns, but we are seeing a equally strong traction in small big towns. So we have done around 25 Innovals in last 5, 6, 7 years, which is very interesting. The second, for people to see our product physically, we have a lot of retailers, like we say. We have a dedicated showrooms at the places with support of our distributors. So that's one. And then in big retailers, we have a concept of shop in shop. So there's a big shop, and within that big shop, we have our dedicated display areas on Legrand. So most of these physical assets are important for customers to visit, see. So that's where our spend goes. And then the traditional spends on the display boards, the signages, the samples. So we have our visibility in the marketplace, the electrical marketplace. I think that's the area where the other part of the spend goes. The last part is what we see ourselves as knowledge partners in the B2B space. So a lot of seminars, lot of talk shows happens. So that's another part, especially in places like data centers, where we talk about energy efficiencies, the hotels, the architects. A lot of seminars take place where we exchange white papers, we exchange our knowledge, we understand the needs of the customers. So that's the other area where it's a typical B2B engagement with our customers on the trends of the technology.
TV fit into your plan anywhere?
No, no, no. I think we have mapped our target audience well. The ROIs get really stressed if we go onto TV. So no, no. As of now, no, no, no TVs as of now.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. Experience for you, I understand, is very important that a consumer can come and touch and feel your products. Could you tell us
Correct.
what role these e-shops, zip stores, and experience centers play in a consumer's buying journey?
That both the physical and the digital complements each other. Correct.
Hmm.
So if you look at a buying decision, anything when you think of that you want to buy, you go to your mobile phone or you go to your laptop and go to the website. Correct. So the first touch point of a customer when he thinks of a product he wants to buy is today digital. So we have to give that experience which we give through our websites or through our e-shop, that a customer can have a look at the product, see the product, look at alternatives, look at the technical part. And then comes the look and feel. So both these things have to be complement each other. It can't be in isolation. So once we have these good innovals, like I talked about, our own showroom, then we have these zip stores, what we call shop in shop, where we give a unique experience. So both the digital and the physical complements each other, and the customer swings between the both. He will go to search something, he will come to a digital store, he might need some more information, he again comes to our e-shop or a website. So I think it complements each other, and this is where our investments on the assets, be it on the digital side or on the physical side, becomes very, very important. So I think it complements well. It becomes a seamless journey for a customer, right from a consideration to a buying behavior, and even post buying his experience. Once he buys, if he wants to get in touch with the company either physically or digitally, we have this seamless integration.
But you did something even more interesting back in 2019 with All in a Wink and Good Vibes. You all experimented with the web series format, and that was way ahead of its time, right? This is pre pandemic, web series was not such a big deal. Today, everyone is integrating itself or creating content for OTT. How important is this format for Legrand?
I think we pushed the envelope a bit hard. It was a big debate and whether we should push it, because Ligro, the brand is emotion. So people are used to emotion, or they have an image of Ligro into their mind. I think the key driver was a shift first in the technology. So the, like I said, the products were becoming connected, the products were becoming, we used IoT stuff like that. So it was not a product which say less in consideration set or being used by a premium customer, maybe aged 50 years and above or 45 years and above. Suddenly this category started become relevant for 25 years, 30 years, 35 years. So as the because of technology first and the digital both. So once the digital came in, the youngsters were much ahead of, I would say, a generation where they would not search a product on eShop. So I think one was we pushed the envelope ourselves, but I think the shift in the target audience, this shift in the technology, this shift in the buying behavior, the shift in the use of digital in making purchase decision forced us to say have a brand of Legrand which connects to the youth also. I
Mm.
think for that was one of the main objective, that is it's not only premium, it's not a cold brand, it's not only for a certain age, it's a brand which can interact, which can connect to the youngsters, which can connect to the shifting changes in the buying behavior of the society. I think that forced us or pushed this envelope, and it was very interesting campaign. And we could see that the audiences who connected with this campaign fitted with our thought process of these shifts in technology, of buying behavior, etc.
Yeah, and now today web series is the norm, right? So now, do you all still use this format? Is there some more experimentation you all are doing?
I think it's becoming too crowded and it's becoming expensive. So, like when we did it, it was less expensive and was not too crowded. We got our share. We are still open to it, but I think we are looking at different means to engage with our target audience. So we are not close to it, but as of now, in the short term, no, we are still engaging, investing more on the e-shop side where we can engage directly with the target audience. Yes.
Right. What's the next thing you all are experimenting with? What's the next envelope you're trying to push?
I think, like I said, we started a pilot of eShop. I think this is one area we are nearly pushing. Giving a bit of a flavor onto B2B side, there are three growth drivers we have identified for the next midterm, say 3 or 4 years. One is connected buildings. So we are, as a vertical, we are very strong in residential and commercial. So connected buildings is key, and the products are changing, like I was mentioning. So that's one of our key focus area. The second is energy efficiency. We know energy is becoming costly, and there's we have to be sustainable from a business point of view. And we do work with big buildings, like I said, hotels, hospitals, education institutes, IITs, IM. So it becomes a duty for us to engage with our customers and see that we save on energy efficiencies. So that's the second key focus. The third is e-mobility also. So EV cars, so e-mobility is coming. We see electrical vehicles. So we are committed and we are invested on the e-vehicle side. So in India also we have launched our chargers. It's a start. The policies are coming into place, the standards are coming into place, but we are say caught up on this tailwind, and this is one area we'll be invested. And the third is data centers. You see, today everything is data. Even if the electricity doesn't come, people can live. But if your Wi-Fi gets switched off, it's an issue. So I think, look, you talked about the content. The data is becoming important. Be it your insurance history, your medical history, your own personal thing, the retail people using so much of a data centers is becoming huge in India. So from a pure B2B perspective, these areas are our key focus, and we are invested and committed on these areas for our future growth. For B2C, yes, I think we are still engaging. Digital becomes a tool where we can engage with our customers, both B2C and B2B. It brings in efficiency and it brings in areas where our collaboration and engagement becomes very, very professional.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for taking the time for this. I have learned a lot through this conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, much appreciate. Bye bye.